Middle schoolers should not date.
Let's talk about that.
Hey, I'm Krista from Ventura, California. Good mythical morning.
Good mythical morning.
This episode is brought to you by the Rhett and Link Kommunity. Go to RhettandLink.com, click on Beast, and take your relationship with us to the next level.
Wow. It's intense. Speaking of taking relationships to the next level, we are going to continue to talk about our experience in the dating world.
You keep talking about dating and your girlfriends. Why do you guys keep talking about your girlfriends?
Is that your commenter voice?
Commenter voice.
Oh,
I hijacked it.
Well, the reason we're going to talk about our girlfriends is because we like to talk about stuff that happened in the past that's funny. Just get over it.
No, just go with it.
Come through that camera.
Hopefully you enjoy this. You know, and if you don't, you'll comment accordingly.
Yeah. So anyway, we talked about in previous episodes about how we had the same first girlfriend. That was Leslie.
Yeah.
And
we alluded to the fact that we also had the same second girlfriend.
And the same second girlfriend was Amber, and I'm going to tell you about...
Not The Rock, an actual person.
That's good, Link. I'm going to tell you about Amber, and
I'm going to do this.
How everything that happened in 8th grade. This was my 8th grade year. Now, first of all, I was riding high in 6th grade because I was like, I got Leslie, I can't outdo myself from here. And then 7th grade, I come in there and I'm just like, who's next? And I'm like, well,
I was with Leslie then.
And I was like, what do I do? And Amber at the time was with Matt McKinney. Remember that? They dated all that year.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't like anybody else.
Then he went to the prom in high school dressed as a woman.
He did, but
we won't talk about that.
No, we won't.
He was just making a statement.
He was making a statement. It was a little
statement made.
And then in 8th grade, they had broken up over the summer or whatever. So I was like, Amber, she's a good-looking girl. Well, maybe I should try to go with her.
Sweet personality, too.
And of course, I wasn't man enough to actually approach her. So I was like,
also that's not how things are done.
Right? Yeah, you got to
establish that
an intermediary. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to do? I'm going to talk to Matt about this.
Ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows her well. They were dated a whole year.
Yeah.
So I go to Matt and I'm like, hey Matt, you think you could talk to Amber for me?
You're kidding me.
No. I went through the ex-boyfriend. He was like, sure, whatever. I don't have any interest anymore. And so he talked to Amber, and we established interest through Matt. And then somehow...
That is funny.
Somehow...
I'm not laughing externally, but internally, I'm just labeling that funny.
In the process of pursuing Amber as my girlfriend, I quit using Matt, and I began using Adam Nicholson.
Adam Nicholson.
He's an unlikely intermediary.
Well, he was a nice guy. He's like a teddy bear kind of a guy. Friendly guy. Girls like him as a friend.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, he had established this dialogue with the ladies. And I was like, well, okay, this will work. And so I remember telling Adam, I was like, I'm interested in Amber. And I know, and she knows now because I told her ex-boyfriend that I'm interested in her.
Yep.
And I remember very distinctly, all these memories are very vivid for me. She was at cheerleading practice. It was the Buies Creek Demons. Remember our mascot was a demon?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy in a little conservative little town. We had a demon mascot.
He was friendly. Not really, though.
Not really. He had a pitchfork. He would, pull you into sin just at any moment.
He had flame in his eyes. I think people were burning in his eyes.
And so she's out there doing the little, well, my name is Amber, and I'm here to say that I'm really, really cool, and I'd like you whatever it was,
She wasn't cheerleading to you.
No, well, that's what I thought. That's what I
said. She's cheering directly at me.
And so Adam Adam goes into the cheerleading practice, talks
Locker room?
No, they're out there on the gymnasium
Hello,
floor.
ladies.
That's not how it works.
I'm in here to deliver a message.
And then he comes back out, and he's like, she said yes.
She said yes?
And I remember, this is the beginning of 8th grade, I was like, this is going to be a good year.
Yeah.
I was very excited. Now,
did you immediately go up and talk to her, or was it like still intermediary?
I think I talked to her.
Now, Adam,
later
you
that
go back
day.
in and say, I'm glad.
No, first, the thing that I understood that I don't think you ever understood is once it's official, is you get rid of the intermediary, because then it becomes really awkward if you're conducting a relationship through someone, another man,
right,
of all people. So anyway, so I was like, well, I got to call her. I get her phone number, and we had discussed your system. So I was like, well, I'm going to call her, and Link apparently had some success, even though you had no success. It sounded like a good system. Of course, we talked about Link's system last week, and that was the idea.
Write down your questions.
That you had like an outline that you were going to take into your conversation. And, it's not like we're doing FaceTime. They didn't have that back then. It's just you can't see me reading my little notebook paper.
Yeah.
So I specifically remember I was watching an episode of The Wonder Years. Remember, great show with Fred Savage. And I remember specifically...
Never watched it.
That's so sad.
Sorry.
So anyway, I'm watching an episode of The Wonder Years, and of course it's a great show, so I don't want to stop, but and this is before DVR, of course, and the commercial break comes, I'm like, well, I'm gonna call Amber, and I'm gonna take I got my thing. I was nervous, first of all, but I had my system. I had like
my system.
Your system, 3 or 4 things I was gonna talk to. I get her on the phone. I don't remember what my system entailed. I don't remember what the 4 things were. All I remember is that I was done with the conversation and back watching Wonder Years by the end of the commercial break. And commercial breaks are about 4 minutes, So this was a short conversation.
It's not a relationship building length of time there.
But I will tell you that within 1 month, because we ended up dating for 8 months, basically the entire 8th grade year, not only were we talking for 4 minutes, it was so pathetic when I think about it now. We were talking for hours.
You weren't one of those couples that one of you you'd both be on the phone, but you'd just be doing stuff.
No.
But not actually talking to each other?
She might have been doing something, but I was just laying there. Listen to her breathe. I don't recall that. But I was
Got any new cheers to tell me about?
No, it was
my name
more like
is
this.
Amber. I like that one. Tell me that one again. My name is Amber.
I don't remember holding my mouth like that either.
Like a horse. You had a horse mouth.
No, but listen,
8th grade.
Listen, I'm going to be vulnerable here. I would say things like,
yeah, be vulnerable.
I miss you. I just seen her at school. I was seeing her the next day. It's not like I'm in the frontier somewhere.
Did you mean it?
I think so. I don't know.
Gosh.
It was so pathetic. And not only that, and I'm getting to a bigger point here that we made in the teaser.
I miss you.
And that is, I had to experience, we went through several holidays together. I specifically remember Christmas, coming that year.
Every
and I was
December,
like,
baby.
I'm going to go to my girlfriend's house on Christmas Day and give her a present.
As an 8th grader.
Listen, let me tell you what I wore to her house. I wore a red sweater. I remember this. A red sweater.
You dressed up like Santa?
And a white turtleneck.
Oh, no.
I had a red sweater and a white turtleneck and a present. I was like, my parents have to drive me over there, of course, and drop me off. And I go to the door, like, is Amber here? And I go in there. I just remember we sat on this little sofa in her living room, like little sitting area, and I had my present. And the thing that I talked about with Leslie, this thing here. Grasp my hand, this. And put your arm around me. Come on, let's demonstrate this, Gizmo. And so I was just like, in my Christmas outfit, I don't remember what she had on, but I know what I had on. I had on a red sweater and a white turtleneck.
She looked like this.
And we just sat there like this on Christmas Day.
I missed you.
Okay, it's starting to get weird now. But
starting to get weird.
And then I remember Valentine's Day came. And I got her a pink ice ring. Remember all the girls like pink ice back in like the early 90s?
I heard about that.
And I was like, I got to get her this pink ice ring. Now,
that's like the plastic version of a rock.
It's not. It isn't real. It's like they make it in like a factory in Irwin.
But
you know what I'm saying?
That seems appropriate for middle school. But what doesn't seem appropriate, and this is where we're going, is the whole premise.
Yeah, this is what I want to say. I think that what was actually happening here in this relationship was that I was mimicking what I saw on television, and I was mimicking what I saw older people do. And I was entirely too young emotionally to have this sort of like committed relationship. Like, she's my girlfriend and I get her things on the thing when it's a holiday and I wear my red. This is actually how I talk. I didn't hold my voice from my nose like this. But if you think about it, and this is my advice to those of you who are in middle school, and I think that honestly, I think the argument could be made for high schoolers too. But you take it how you will.
Preach.
This teenage time is just not a time to be into this like faux committed relationship, because trust me, it's faux, and faux means false, means fake. Okay, it's not real.
But there's an X on it,
I don't mean
which makes it confusing.
I don't need to say that you don't have real feelings or whatever, but so many things are happening with you right now, if you're in middle school, that you're gonna, and when you get to be older, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, man, I didn't know anything about anything. It's just a fact.
I really like you using the verb mimic, because I think that really captures it. That it's not a it's like all the puzzle pieces aren't even there, and you're trying to build something just based. Well, it's just supposed to look. Just enjoy your life. I think the question is, what
Just
can
have
be
friends.
learned? What can be learned from a relationship at that point? And we're going really serious here. Because I got a daughter, and I'm thinking she might need to watch this one. What do they have to gain, middle schoolers? What do you have to gain being in a relationship at that age? It's just
You have
it's
a lot to
farce.
lose.
You have a lot to lose.
You have a
It's
lot to lose.
farce.
You don't have anything to gain.
Just be friends and start to learn very slowly that men and women are very different.
And it's very difficult to do this.
Keep your distance.
But I would say that the thing that I'm trying to communicate is that, and we should be able to do this at every point in our lives, because even now, as I'm about to turn 35 in a couple of weeks, okay? I'm old. I'm getting old, especially to most of the people who watch
October
this.
11th, mail him a Christmas present for his birthday.
But you know what? I need to be able to understand that my parents, who are, in their late 60s, mid 60s, late 60s, they know more about life than I do. And I need to, you have to like stop and be like, okay, they have experienced this. They're telling me things about what I'm experiencing right now. You have to trust. So what I'm telling you is somebody who's been through it, just hold off. Hold those emotions a little bit tighter. You don't need to have some serious relationship in middle school.
This is turning into like a public service announcement. But I feel good about it.
I mean, now you will be, if you have a show one day, you might be able to tell a funny story about it. We'll say that.
That's cool. You can exploit it later for whatever you can squeeze out of it. Here we go. Win the lottery.
Hey, listen, I got this.
Ticket? Like a lottery ticket, maybe?
I think they call it a scratcher.
Okay.
And they just said they just came on the TV and they said that the numbers were.
Should I scratch
I
it?
paused it. No, I've already scratched it.
Okay.
10,
If it itches.
14, 76, 32, 17. Is that an 11?
Oh, we won the lottery!
We?
Won the lottery! Just let me hold it.
I bought this.
We won. What are we going to spend it on? We're going to spend it on equipment. We're going to spend it on dating advice tapes. We can make dating advice VHS tapes for middle schoolers. And think about how many we can make. A lot. We won the lottery.